discussion is going to start now. The topic is, why are crypto exchanges still flourishing? And our panelists are, we've got Peter Summer from Bitmarkets, Osama Bari from DIFX, Mohammad Khalifa from Garantex, and Anndy Lian from Kishu Inu. He's also our, moderator. So can I please have our guests on stage now? Thank you.
All right, welcome everyone, excited to be here. My name is Uptin and I'm a journalist and content creator. I make videos for TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram about tech, money, and cultures. I'm based here in Dubai. Excited to be here today with all of you guys. So we're going to be discussing, why are crypto exchanges still flourishing? So with that, let's get a short introduction from each of you. If you could introduce yourselves, what you do, and we'll go on from there.
My name is Mohammad Khalifa. I'm the CEO of Garantex. We are one of the largest crypto exchanges out of Estonia and Russia. And now we are established in the United Arab Emirates, and we are doing our business as per the regulators' requirement. I'm an ex-banker, a finance person, worked with different banks. I have experience with a lot of financial structuring, family offices. Also I've worked with different companies like AIG. I was head of MENA. And I'm an ex-regulator. I used to work for the IFC. This is almost like a year ago. Because of Garantex, I had to leave the job itself. So therefore, the regulatory and the structure of the regulated requirement experience comes from when I was the vice president of the IFC.
Amazing, thank you. Let's go to Osama.
Hello, my name is Osama. I'm a group CTO of the DIFX. So I started my career 10 years before. I'm a software engineer. I was working in normal software industry. And from last 7 years, I'm in the blockchain industry. I have worked in many blockchain projects. One of the best is the DIFX. And we are creating a DIFX project, or DIFX exchange, which actually user needs, like as a trader, I face so many issues. And we face so many problems also. That's what we are trying to solve in DIFX. Thank you.
Wonderful. Anndy.
Hey, hi everyone, I'm Anndy Lian from Singapore. I'm chairman of Big One Exchange. We are registered in Netherlands, top 40 globally on CoinMarketCap. I am also the chief digital advisor to Mongolia. Today I'm here as a council member to Kishu Inu. And then, of course, I have many other hats. I was the blockchain advisor to 22 countries as part of the productivity organization. And then, last but not least, we also own a fund registered in Singapore, currently at 500 million AUM. We invested in good projects, early projects, exchanges as well, like FTX, CoinDC, X, and so forth. So it's good to meet everybody.
Thank you for being here. Peter?
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for having us here. My name is Peter. I'm the CEO of Bitmarkets, which is a crypto exchange, a newly established crypto exchange, focusing mostly on providing the best strategies for trading environment for users. And I'm actually coming from Slovakia. I used to work as a financial analyst back in Slovakia in the one asset management company. So there's an experience in technical analysis, financial ratios and stuff. And since 2017, I've been into crypto space and also focusing more onto the fintech industry. And here I go. We decided to just establish a new crypto exchange in 2019, which is now the Bitmarkets. And I'll be happy to speak about our today's topic. Thank you.
Thank you, and we have a bonus addition to stage. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, hello everybody. My name is Shantnoo LBank. Sorry, I've got a special chair. Can't help it, but last ones always get the best sometimes. But my background is payments. I did payments and cryptos. I've been in the crypto space for 7 years now. Started my crypto journey with Huobi, the crypto exchange from China. Currently, I'm the founder of Encryptus, which is a regulated OTC desk, and the acting COO for LBank. LBank has been in business for over 7 years. We have over 7 million users globally. And the focus really for LBank is to go more local. We have been looking at building communities at a grassroots level. We are inviting best of the projects to come and be a part of the LBank success story. We have set up our operations here in Dubai and looking forward to get deeper into markets within Africa, Indian subcontinent, and of course Turkey being one of the most favorable crypto markets. So that's what LBank is all about. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys for your introductions, and we will have time for audience questions in a little bit, so start to think of your questions and we'll bring the mic around. But I want to dive in to this panel. So exchanges like Binance and FTX have had more than $1 billion just in profits last year. What are we going to see happen this year? And whoever wants to take it.
It's going to succeed that 100%, especially with what's going on in the political situation right now in Europe and Russia. Definitely it's going to be a big trading platform. All the exchanges that's going to be working, especially when the cash is related to that one. The solutions with the crypto exchanges or the crypto itself it's providing today is a big slap to the conventional banking. All the banks that are putting a lot of obstacles for the repatriation cash between the cross-border, that is happening especially with different jurisdictions related to that, nationalities, the KYCs which are related to it. It's easier for anybody to go through an OTC system or a trusted platform in order to transfer their cash. Especially right now we see a lot of cryptos that are fixed or pegged to the dollar or fixed against a fixed number of currency where you are not volatile like a currency that is not there. So therefore you can use a crypto similar that you're using a dollar that you're putting in your pocket and going to another market or another jurisdiction in order to use it. The nationalities, for example, we see a lot of countries today that are embargoed economically. We have Russia, we have Iran, we have Iraq, Syria, name them. And all of these people are going at some multi-billion-dollar businesses that are being run over there. So what is the solution for them? Crypto provided that. So when there is a solution through the crypto itself and blockchain that is coming, why not the crypto exchanges? The size is going to be it's going to be huge, and I'm expecting 3 times what it was last year. Otherwise, it's because just what's going on for the political situation in Russia, and what we see here in UAE also, what the market, especially all of the OTC licenses are out over here. I see a huge movement of cash from that. So this is a solution where the conventional banking is not helping the businesses to grow.
Do you think, though, we're seeing more regulatory scrutiny on crypto, right? Do you think that that's going to hinder some of this 3 times growth you're talking about?
It depends on where you're talking about this. If you're talking about the GCC, definitely not, because we see a lot of changes that are coming, especially with the news that came out yesterday that Binance has obtained the license from the only license from the Central Bank of Bahrain to be a crypto exchange. Over here in United Arab Emirates, we've got several licenses for that. We have, for example, from the DMCC, we have the OTC with the proprietary trading. We have multilateral license from ADGM, which is, again, a regulated license. It is from ADGM, which is a recognized international common English law jurisdiction with its own courts and its arbitration center. That means it allows the business to be regulated. Who's out of there? There are a lot of companies, the likes of BitOasis, they're capitalizing on this because they've got the, in principle approval right now. And there are many of them. We have companies like Swissquote, who've got the category 3A out of the IFC, which provides them the custodian services and execution services where they can do the crypto trading legally over here. And the custodian licensing itself, it allows them or helps them to open custodian accounts with several banks where they can have financial support for them and they can serve their clients. We have seen right now, which His Highness Sheikh Mohammad bin Rashid, who have signed off on the license of Dubai World Trade Center trading license, which was declared last year. Again, so we are seeing multiple type of licensing in relation with the crypto, the regulation that's coming, the different jurisdictions they're signing with the professional companies, the likes of Binance and the large companies, 1inch, and they're entering the market over here. They're partnering with the government bodies in order to do that. This is in this region, but if we exit from the GCC, we are seeing different stories. And that is all because of the political driven and what is behind it, and depending on the system of the governments over there. Not getting into it in a political manner, but it's driven by the countries, drive it politically on the political scene around the world. If we take an example, your country, United States, and Europe, Asia, and Africa. what are the different policies that they are implementing over there because of the contract, the binding contracts that they've got, the alliances that they've got with different powers that they've got over there. Different countries have got different allowances with the Central Bank of United States, especially with the taxation laws. Today we see India has got, they banned it, they banned crypto trading. They come back and they say it's allowed, but you need to be VATed for 33%. So different jurisdictions, different places, different regulations are coming back. But overall, crypto is going to be in the future, and we are seeing it. We have seen now two African countries have adopted as a payment method. We have seen Venezuela, we have seen even Nepal. Who would have thought Nepal would become a country that accepts cryptocurrency as a payment method?
Agree, disagree?
I have my own view on how things are going to be like, yeah. You know, we operated as an exchange since 2017 and invested in many. You know, number one, I think staying regulated is a very good thing, to be very honest. That's the reason why, personally, I invested and also invested my time, you know, giving advice to government. I think this is a very good move to stay regulated. But the thing is, we have to also understand the other side of the things, which is innovation, right? If we kept ourselves in that sandbox or in that regulated environment, it will come a time where it will become the old centralized world that many of us, right in the beginning, 2012 and so forth, we were thinking that, you know, why are we talking about centralization? You know, we want to remove them, right? And then I think the fine balance between regulation and innovation is right now, you know. So all the good actors, all the good people, you know, on the stage, at the audiences, we have to understand, you know, why are we here? You know, is it because there is a chance for you to earn more money, you know? Or is it a chance where you can be part of a hype, you earn a few $1 million and you exit? That's not true. You know, people like Binance, FTX and so forth, they are all looking at long term. They invested in infrastructure, they invested in license, and most importantly, they invested in people. Not only their own staff, but also the community, right? So again, it comes to a point where we will ask ourselves, you know, is it better for an exchange to be located or have the legal entity in Seychelles versus Singapore versus South Korea, for example? It become a choice. You know, it become a choice where you want to be regulated and where your community is. You know, I totally disagree on things like, because crypto is going to be, you know, reaching out to the unbanked, you know, there's a huge market and so forth. That's not true, because if the country is really not doing well, adding crypto in might just mess up everything, you know, and having it regulated could also be another problem. So some countries, I think, is more heavy on innovation. Some countries are more heavy on people, community. For example, we talk about Indonesia, Philippines, for example. There are tons of people, right? India, for example. And then some other countries which are more mature, for example, you know, like Singapore, Hong Kong, or the recent South Korea president, you know, which is very pro-crypto. Those places or those countries, well, they can go more heavy on the regulation part. So I think there is a good balance, and my concluding word is I think there's still a lot of good money out to be made. It's not only about Binance or FTX or Bybit, for example. It's not like that. You know, if you in your own jurisdiction do well, create your own community, and be very truthful in the things that you are trying to operate, whether you are a meme coin or you are a layer 2, as long as you're being very truthful, you really want to run the project, there's sufficient money out in the market for you to grow. There's sufficient exchanges for you to be listed. You know, so it's going to be a long-term process, you know.
And also, Andy, I completely agree with what you just mentioned, because there's another very important aspect that the exchanges actually need to really consider, and that's education. Because still we have billions of people all over the world. A lot of people are trying to get into the hype of buying cryptocurrency without even understanding what they are buying or what they are getting into, what the project is all about. And actually you asked a billion-dollar question about FTX and Binance, but also we have to really understand where the market is getting into. Look at last 3 months, it looks like it's more of a bear slash consolidation stage we are at. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball to say what the future is going to be, but I think it really depends what would be the next move of Bitcoin really from here. If the price goes towards a bullish trend, of course we would see the profitability to be probably much higher than $1 billion that we just described. However, if the consolidation stage continues for the next few months, you also have a big task of the things getting accumulated at an average price which is less than $50,000 versus if you compare 2021 where the average price was much higher. In general, if you see, we had bad 3 months, but we are still continuing with that trend and we don't know when this will end. So I think going back to Andy, what you just said, education from crypto exchanges will play a very important role, so as the user experience, like how easy it is for a user to get in and out of cryptos, which is cash in and cash out, probably will determine who would actually be the next big leader.
I want to know, so, one of my video editors is in Russia. I used to pay him on PayPal. I can't do that anymore. So he asked for me to pay him in Bitcoin 2 days ago. And I've never paid anyone in crypto, right? I've only invested on Robinhood. So I'm kind of like, okay, which platform can I use as an American to pay him? And, walking around, you see a lot of exchanges. So I'm curious, does the market have room for all of these exchanges, a lot of these new players? And it'll be good to hear from Peter right now too. Or are we going to see a lot of them consolidate or go under?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the crypto exchange or crypto market as a whole can provide like all the possibilities that can come into the payment transactions, yeah, and it's only focused on the cryptocurrencies. Also, you mentioned that the current tension in the Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, a lot of people, in my opinion, discovered the actual use of the cryptocurrencies and the benefits of them, like when it comes to the payment transactions, yeah, because they were just actually disconnected from the SWIFT, for example. Yeah, it's kind of controversial topic, so I don't want to get into much details. But yeah, this is what crypto exchange can definitely utilize, and that users can actually benefit from. And also, when I get back to the points that the education was described by you, I think it's very important to connect the education, and with the upcoming regulations, the users will gain more confidence into investing or start utilizing the cryptocurrencies and using it as a form of some kind of future utility. So there's like a big future in this one, and with upcoming regulations that we have now, like many jurisdictions, many authorities are trying to get or find out the proper licensing for crypto exchanges to also not restrict them too much in providing the services. So I think when it can be also connected with the innovation, that it will sustain beneficial for users, and it will also sustain decentralized, then I think the users can definitely benefit from the cryptocurrencies in the future, as well as from the payment transactions that it provides. Yeah.
Yes. In addition to that, in my point of view, in all of crypto exchanges, everyone would require a new era development in terms of adoptions, in terms of providing the facilities like they were having before. For example, I would like to talk about the nomination process. If I open my account in Binance and something happened to me, what will happen to my fund? Who will own the fund? So this is the big problem. If you, like, people could love to have a nomination process and all. So this kind of facilities needs to build in the market. People need more insurance, more security side. People are still scared to put money anywhere else, because now the concept is in the people's mind, if you don't own the key, you don't own the fund. That's typically like correct. But still, we need to figure out a solution. Like I would like to mention one name, like Fireblocks. There's a custodian partner, but I'm not promoting anyone, but I'm just saying that the one example that gives you the insurance. So the people who put the fund, they have stuff like normal, like my fund is secured, but the fund is not going anywhere because the crypto exchanges got hacked 2017, 18, 19, so many exchanges. And we saw people got scared and the market got dumped and so many things happened. So my point of view, we should work also in the development side where we should make the people life more easier. What people want, we should not make the things which we want to impose anything on the people. We need to make the things which people need. For example, which I give the few examples. And also usability and adoptions. If you see in last 2 years after the corona, so many new people adopt the blockchain, adopt the crypto exchanges. After India imposed the taxes, so many people from India, they move out from India exchanges to going to the foreign exchanges. After Ukraine, Russia, so many people started signing up in the different exchanges and they started putting money there. But still, they need to figure out one solution that can provide and facilitate all the services they need in normal life.
Great. So we'll open it up to audience Q&A in about 5 minutes. But I want to know, on a point that Osama brought up, which was quite interesting, is giving people what they want. And I think this is a really interesting place to take the discussion, because if you look at the US market, you have a lot of people who are doing Bitcoin to invest, right, to get rich quick. But if you look at Argentina or, parts of Africa, even right now, Turkey suffering from 50-60% inflation. I was just in Argentina, which has 50% annual inflation, right? So the second people get paid, they convert as much money as they can into dollars, but they're limited, right? The government says you can only convert $200 a month, or from Argentinian pesos to $200. After that, no, you got to keep your pesos, right? So what do people do? They try and get as much Bitcoin as they can. So it's interesting to see how different markets think of crypto and Bitcoin particularly very, very differently. So while, again, for an American it might be nice to try and get rich, but for people in a lot of these countries where they can no longer trust their fiat currencies or government-backed currencies, it's actually livelihood. So do you think that this kind of contrast in terms of use case is going to drive the future of exchanges? Anybody?
Yes, I would like to mention that inflation, that's a very good point. Suppose, for example, in Argentina, if I'm having 100 and next year it will be 50. Yeah. So now the crypto is actually, for one project I would like to mention, like Terra blockchain Luna, they give real farming up to 15% on a stable coin. So it's still upside plus point. So this kind of projects are coming to the market. I love to explore the new projects like this, and I will also request everyone to know more about the new projects that gives actually adding the value in the market. So the Luna is a concept like it's burn Luna and mint USD coin. The USD is a stable coin. So that's very less people understand that matter, real farming and so many scam, other things happen, so people are scared. But there's a good project still in the market that can actually solve this problem by giving you correct and good value in the returns, in the good API. So 15 to 20% APY, I think in the stable coin, that's, I think, I never seen in this, like from last 2-3 years, for the correct and regulated projects.
See, I would like to start with a saying, necessity is the mother of any invention. You cannot compare a market or a region to another where the cryptocurrency is going to be treated. You'll find in some markets it's negligible, nobody cares about the cryptocurrency, and in some markets it's so high and in so high in demand, it's because of the nature and the community that requires that one. The example that you have given in Brazil, it's one of them. What I said about the repatriation of the capitals, that's true. US, if you take, let's take the US as an example. What does US need from the world? They are the leaders of the financial institutes. So do they need cryptocurrency to deal with this, to do them? Definitely there is no need for that one. So you will never see there's a huge demand from the market for cryptocurrency like a country like United States. On the contrary, you will find investors. all the wealth asset managers, they will be chasing you to get your money to put on that and invest it via portfolios instead of having it in a structured notes or blue chip, any kind of investment vehicle that you would like to put it, they will give you an option as another option as a crypto. But when you come to this region and you come to those countries who have got border problems, financial institute problems, definitely you see there's another solution. I'll give you one problem that's happening in United Arab Emirates because of a regulation which is related to the properties. When you're purchasing a property in United Arab Emirates, you need to do the payment through a manager check. And the commission, now they have changed it. Previously it was with another managed check. And then you have to pay the service fees for the registrar with another check. So if I'm not a resident of this country, how can I open a bank account and have a check for that? Bitcoin or crypto was the solution, and one of the first companies that started as one of the mega developers is the MAC, who have started accepting the cryptocurrency against the property, and they will issue on your behalf the required documents and the financial instruments for the government's requirement in order to issue the title deed. For me, as I see it, my personal opinion is that it depends country by country, regulation by regulation, jurisdiction by jurisdiction, and the most important thing is political derivatives and the acceptance in the world itself. Today, if you're going to say that United States, because it's an investment country, I agree with you, 100%. If you're going to tell me GCC is a very high trading market for crypto, again, I'm going to agree with you. Two different opinions for two different jurisdictions, but this is because of the requirement of the place itself. I would like to compare something with one of your videos, which I seen it a lot, I love it. Your comparison of the McDonald's burgers and meals. From a country to a country, it is different. Why is it not being offered in all of the countries? The only place is in the United States, and it's in one branch that they offer different things in different weeks. But going to different countries, you find specialized meal for that. And McDonald's plays actually one of the biggest financial, basis for any country. I'll give you an example, is the value of a Big Mac meal and how is that being afforded for. So saying that cryptocurrency is going to be the future is definitely the future, because currently we are seeing a lot of countries, the central bank is debating and they're putting regulations to issue their own cryptocurrency. Taking an example, United Arab Emirates, in 2023, the central bank with Osama, which is from the Central Bank of Saudi Arabia, they're doing a coalition in order to create a cryptocurrency for the inter-border, cross-border, cash transfer for the trade and the business, the SMEs that they're working, including even the, corporate clients. Instead of using the conventional banking instrument, which the cost is very high, they will use this crypto, buy it, pay that small fee, get it done, get your business done over there. The structures where the central banks of United Arab Emirates and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia can work together.
But doesn't that sort of defeat the purpose of what crypto was originated for, is when you have central banks having such a big say in value?
Any central bank, like a jealous wife, is very protective of its own currency. With all respect to our sisters here. So any central bank, the value of the country itself, it needs to protect the local currency itself against the other currencies and the baskets that they put inside, the backups that they put in that one. Saying that, future is inevitable, no matter you like it or not. It's like an electric car. 10 years ago, people were laughing at you why you're having even in in the United States, trying the Toyota, the Prius. It's a good car, you drive it, and everybody was making fun of it. Today, they are fighting, there is queues, and there are people who are waiting in line to get those cars. Tesla cannot compete with the orders with them. It's similar to the cryptocurrency. Because it's providing solutions, it's going to come. And it's inevitable that the regulatory authorities, irregardless, irrespective if it's a central bank or a licensing regulator, they have to adapt this for the future. Because it is enormous amount of cash, and the government needs to protect its own citizens against any kind of fraud that is happening. So therefore, they need to find regulations where it can be adapted to the local currency and the local economy.
Yeah, I just want to add on again. I'm not sure how I should put this, but if you notice, there's huge difference in terms of how we look at centralization, decentralization, innovation, and so forth, yeah? But then if you really look at it right now, if we continue to think in this manner, which is solely towards the more regulated space, we are going into and back to the whole capitalism way of life, and it's all going back. If you notice right now, is 5 years ago, when I look at the audience, they are all young guys. I'm in my 40s, yeah? All young guys, 20s and so forth. Right now, at this current time, you will see very old uncles talking about NFTs. 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, that kind of age. That kind of age, I think is good to give a very good mature understanding and sharing. But also at the same time, it is very disturbing, you know, because we are losing the innovation part, you know. And then if we lose the innovation part, there are a lot of other downstream issues that's going to come in, you know. Because right now, if you go back to the very early topic about, you know, how exchanges are going to be like, are exchanges going to, new exchanges going to survive, you know, is the limitation of withdrawal, you know, going to work and so forth. Actually, all these things are a good balance in different countries. You know, like the fine gentleman mentioned, it's a good balance. And the people on the ground, the grassroots and so forth, must try their very best to make sure that the things that they have proposed is going to be very sound. The government is going to listen to you and take very credible notes and find ways to execute them. You know, right now, it is lacking. And when I say it's lacking, there's a lot of downstream issues, because a lot of these projects and a lot of these regulations are led by people who are not practitioners. They just talk. They don't really understand what exactly happened in the space. You know, why is there a restriction? You know, I give you an example. In places like Singapore, for example, you know, there's no capital gain tax. There's no this, no that. But if you were to buy a Lamborghini and you paid your friend $2 million, do they dare to accept it? Because he will be thinking, how is he going to cash it out? After cashing out into the bank, would there be other issues? Can they use underground money changer, for example? So there's a lot of downstream issues. And I think the additional layer of innovation is going to help. And I hope to see new blood coming in. You know, not just creating projects that's going to last for 1-2 months and they are gone. I hope the young guys can come in to relook at the regulations and also the whole workflow of things. You know, I have very good friends in India, for example. You know, they really look very tightly on the tax. You know, how they are very unhappy about tax and so forth. But the thing is, if you look at it from an outsider perspective, they should feel blessed, because their government is accepting it. You know, a lot of other governments are not accepting it. They are still in a very gray area, so forth and so on. So again, I want to say that in the places like India, in South Korea, for example, they are putting innovation up front and also at the same time trying to protect all their people. You know, so we hope to see more people, new people in this industry and not just come here for a while and then they leave, man.
Great. I would like to mention, like you mentioned, that Indian tax. Personally, I was the most happiest person when the Indian government put the tax, because my win is like the government bodies is now looking into that matter. That's a positive side. People used to think that's a very positive thing, that government now itself is working, so people don't need to worry about that. That's a very good regulation side. Second option is, as you mentioned about the Ferrari, we need to build an ecosystem of the crypto, that people can use crypto for the bottle of water, Lamborghini, or anything. So the problem comes when they try to cash out. And we are still in a struggling phase in all the crypto industries. We are building the ecosystem. Every project is innovation. Definitely, I would like to say that innovation is required. And the new innovation definitely is required. And to be honest, my mom still talk about NFT. So she is a painter. So she definitely always talk about NFTs. And she learn about it, and she teach me new things about ERC 115. So she is a bit techy also. But the thing is, now I see is a very positive thought, because now doesn't matter the age, everyone try to understand, try to learn, and try to adopt the things. And the best thing is now on the crypto exchanges or any platform, the crypto, most users are between age of 14 or 25. Very new age. So they are very quick to understand and all, not elders. So that is unexpected things is also coming. So that's very good positive things.
Yeah, just to add some few things, just some ideas. The time is running out already. I think that crypto, to add something to this topic, why crypto exchange is still flourishing. Well, they need to flourish, and I hope they will be flourishing for the next couple of years. But definitely, they need to diversify. Like this is one of the important things that they have to do to diversify on different markets, as we have a lot of countries, not a lot of countries, but also like when we can take an example from some countries in South America that are already accepting crypto as a legal tender, maybe the crypto exchange will not be that utilized, but they need to diversify actually from the markets where they can actually, the users that can pay for this with the crypto, where they can actually pay for tokenized assets like stocks, for example. We have security token exchanges already established. It's not a big market yet, but this is, I think, something that crypto exchanges should focus on and bring this market to the people where they can actually buy tokenized assets like stocks, bonds, ETFs or indices, and actually have the same rights as if they would buy the physical stocks or bonds. So this is something that I like. This is something, the idea that I'm also supporting, and I hope that all of the crypto exchanges will be providing this kind of possibilities and opportunities for the people and for the overall market. Yep.
So at this time, we'd like to open it up for Q&A. So yeah, if we can go, while she goes to the mic, if you want to. Okay, all right, so we're going to have about 10 minutes for Q&A, so we have about time for 5 questions.
Hi, my name is Mohammad. I'm the founder of European Digital University. See, the whole blockchain and the crypto come to unite and empower the entire humanity through decentralization of power and money. But what is happening now, it is happening against the principles of blockchain now. Because the people are fighting each other for Bitcoin. Many people are fighting and killing each other, many countries, for Bitcoin, the improper sale and purchase of Bitcoin and all. It's happening everywhere, as all of you are aware. So my humble request to you, how can we take it to the masses? Right from the school levels, like a nursery class student can open a crypto wallet. Now a new world order system has to come. Even the children can start to make money through crypto, like it is happening in Canada, Europe and America. It can happen in India, other countries. So this education about the crypto, blockchain, NFT has to spread across all the schools, colleges, universities across the world. That is my humble suggestion, so we request your support for that.
Can I? Actually, that's a very good point, and I don't know if you remember how I started. I think the first and foremost thing that is missing in this world is education. And I completely stand by what you say, because everybody is talking about big funders, big concepts, NFTs, CFI, DeFi, a combination. And think about an average user. I mean, there are still, the majority of the population in the world is still unbanked, and we are talking about taking DeFi to masses. How would that happen? Until we solve the basics right, and the basics is education. And I completely agree with what you said, like crypto education, the blockchain education should be taken to the grassroots level. And then there is definitely a scope, like how people can get involved into cryptos is probably DeFi. It's very unfortunate that the speed at which this industry is growing, until 2020 we were mainly hearing predominantly about Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. But later 2020 and 21, we just saw how DeFi came into the picture, faded off, NFTs came in, now you have got a metaverse, you have got play and earn. A user, somebody who has been in this industry for 7 years, to be honest, I'm unable to catch up as to the way things are going. But there is no base, everybody is busy building, but nobody is really thinking, how do we go back and get the basics right? So, just on what you said, I completely stand by your point.
Thank you very much. Just to add on this, let me be a positive person. The simplest thing that we can do today, anybody, even any child is doing, is going to his mobile to the Google search and they'll search XYZ. Today if you search, I would like to learn about crypto or crypto institutes, crypto establishments, you'll find abundance of them that are teaching you a lot. For us, our ages, let's take a look at that. What we have learned in our universities, today it's 10 times more what our children are learning in the university. So, is crypto teaching gonna come? It's definitely coming. How is it coming? It's coming through the back door, blockchain. Today, in United Arab Emirates, we have the Ministry of Artificial Intelligence. What is artificial intelligence built on? What does it need to expand? How does it can communicate between different departments? There where it's coming. The governments are taking positive steps toward educating the common person, the common student, the young-aged person through the schools itself. I have seen for my daughter, this is a personal experience. My daughter now, she started her first year of university this year. But for the past 2 years in her entrepreneurship curriculum, she's learning about blockchain, finance, cryptocurrency, how the calculations are happening. And this year in the university, they are telling her about tokenomics. So education is there, it's coming. It's just, how can we get it? A simple initiative of a person that needs to move. Information is there on the internet. It's available in different search engines. If you have the will to go for it, definitely the information is there for you.
Actually, Mohammad, sorry, I'll just say something on this point. You're absolutely right. There is a lot of information. But the problem is, how do you filter the information? Like, what do you believe and what you don't believe? Because I have been witnessing I don't know if there is anybody from Oxford University here, and I'm sorry if I say this. I did a blockchain course from Oxford University. Hear me out, please. And not long ago, 4 years back, but what they taught during the course actually made no sense back then. However, the problem, what I personally think is the media, the YouTubers, the Twitter, who you follow actually makes a very, very important thing here. Like, what things will happen. I know we have
This person sitting over here, I have the honor, actually I'm privileged to share his videos with my family because it's a lot of education that's coming out of there and we can get a lot of lessons. Let me give you a primitive, or something that, a bias of each person of us. You go to a supermarket, you've got 2 cans of beans. The first thing you do is what? You read the label, and then you choose the first suitable for yourself. That's it.
Correct.
You're the best teacher for yourself,
but
not
you understand the ingredients. But if I write an ingredient in Mandarin, for example, and you don't know how to read Mandarin, what would you do?
There is translations.
Yes,
there are solutions. Technology is there for you. You need to be your own teacher. The conventional way of teaching, I'm sitting in a classroom of 60, 30, 35. I'll give you an example of myself. I'm a government educated person. I've graduated from a school that has changed a name today. I've finished a proprietary school that is no more over there. The building completely is gone. I was in a class that was no less than 30 people sitting over there. I'm a mechanical engineer, graduated from Holland, and I studied Dutch in order to exit that one. Who was my teacher? Myself. Today, I'm a very well-known person. I have CPA, CIA, CFA, and ACII, which is an insurance certification. Who taught me? No one. I learned it myself. These are all foreign languages. As a mechanical engineer, to be an expert in finance world, I didn't have a teacher, I taught myself. The information was in front of me. I got it from the internet. I took the self-initiative to get that. My daughter, the only thing I did for her wallet, was just to set up a Binance wallet for her. And now she has a Garantex wallet also. She does her own trading.
But can I just interrupt? I think the sad truth is, education, it really depends on where you get the information, right?
Exactly, yes.
And then
trying to say.
I'll give you an example. If today you go to a YouTuber, I'm sorry, man, but if you go to a YouTuber, and when the YouTuber tell you all sorts of bullshit, and then at the end, he gives you a referral link.
Absolutely. That's the point.
So what kind of education is this? That's number one. Number two is that, of course, that's the way to earn money, right? I'm also totally fine with that. But the number two thing that I want to clear, and is a very unpopular view is that crypto investment is not for everybody. All right, if any influencer were to come to you and you and you and say that you guys should invest in cryptocurrency, you read the same information as I do, I go to the Oxford course and they say that they are an expert, then think twice, man. I always say this to everybody, just be very careful on who you trust and what kind of information that they are sharing, you know. And if they are very open about their education, they are very open about what they do, I think it's good to listen, right? Then of course, you got to do your own research, then you got to find the right kind of a YouTuber, for example. But coming back to the point is that crypto investment is not for everybody. There is a very high upside and there is a very high downside. And if you do not understand how the crypto market functions, and you keep shouting for a pump, they are dumping, those guys are going to have a rug pull, then you would have invested in the wrong project because you do not understand what's exactly happening. And the reason why the government are stopping you from investing or putting up a lot of restriction is also a form of protection. Not everyone understood how a Binance account works. You know, not everyone understood if you play options on Bybit, for example, why am I all liquidated, right? You know, why am I buying in the meme coin and they were expecting the pump to happen in 1 day, 1 week, and they expect it to be 1000x. All these things comes from uneducated information. And this is a long-term process, man.
I would like to add one thing here. The biggest problem which I face is like lack of education. I agree with you, you have to be your own teacher. 100%, whatever the investment, whatever things you're doing, you have to educate. The first thing is, before that, you need to understand what is the blockchain, what is the cryptocurrencies and all these things. The information, the requirement in the market is localization. We need to more content for the blockchain in the different language so each person can understand their own language in the flexible version.
All right, unfortunately we are told that we're out of time, but we have a very determined guest who's going to ask this question anyway.
Thank you for accommodating me. So treat me as a student of the crypto. I'm a crypto enthusiast right now, but I still get lost at many points. So anyone among you can answer, how do we spot scamsters as investors, as consumers? Can somebody throw a light on this one?
Sports scammers. I can go ahead maybe. That's a very good question actually that you asked. And I still can't get everything right. However, there is one very simple philosophy that I follow. People who really own a lot of Bitcoins, for example, they will not boast about how quickly they got and acquired such a huge quantity of coins. And actually I've seen the biggest of the miners who started mining in 2010, 2011, and that's something that I've seen in the last 7-8 years, that these are those people who are actually very, very simple. And all what they do is they talk about technology. The Bitcoin maxis will only talk about Bitcoin and shitcoins. I'm sorry for the word, but that's the reality. And for them, there is nothing that exists beyond. And in general, there are different ways. I mean, if people are trying to avoid KYC, people are trying to give you options, which doesn't seem right to you as common sense. Like, you know, if somebody would say, transfer the coins to me first, and then I will transfer money back to you via bank transfers, maybe that's a scam. Anything that is unusual. And also the platforms. I think it's very important to choose the right platforms because, you know, for example, if you're downloading an app, for instance, I would never download an app from an app store. I would always go to that company's website and scan the QR code and download. If I have to follow them on Telegram, on Twitter, something as simple as you just make sure that you follow the Telegram and Twitter channels from their own website. And listen to good people. Listen to people who have done well in the crypto space. Follow the institutions like Grayscale. You have got MicroStrategy, etc. You have got tons of these good people talking about cryptocurrencies. In fact, they talk basics about cryptocurrency. They don't talk about high fundamental items which an ordinary person won't understand. So these are just 7 or 8 pointers that I could think of. Of course, there's tons, but I just thought to share these for now.
I would like to add a few things. I can give you in the pointers. Number 1 point. Suppose, for example, you are receiving USDT. Many fraud I've seen in last 2 months. People deployed fake USDT contract in Ethereum and Binance, and they scammed many people who I know. So be careful whenever you receive any USDT, check that contract address and the logo should be there in Etherscan. Another, the same thing they are doing in BSC scan, FTM scan, and Polyscan. So all the USDTs, all the coins you are receiving, make sure they are correct. How you will make sure, like you need to go to the proper explorer to make sure to put the right contract address to check that. Or either just click on the logo which is coming in the transaction hash or transaction detail. And the second point is, if you want to, suppose someone is trying to scam you, like sending you some tokens and saying, okay, this is a different token and they are trying to scam you. Copy that contract, go to the Explorer and check that whether it's correct or not. Or the other option is the website called Token Sniper.
Then it's probably not a good investment. Yeah, then you need to be very careful with that.
Just to simplify on this one, simple steps that you can take, it makes you a little bit safer, even for those who are not experienced on that one. If you are looking at to buy a brand new coin, if it's an ICO or STO or it's a secure token, whatever NFT, whatever type of coin it is, read the white paper. Is it logical? Does it represent what your character and what you want to be? This is one. Number 2, if it's too good to be true, stay away from it. Number 3, if you're doing unconventional trading, go with the trusted platforms that you have done your research on it, even if it's not the big names, but read the reviews. Google is there to help you. There are so many articles on them. Read the blogs, enter to the blogs before you put a single cent in that. This will give you a lot of information. Saying this, is there 100% secure that I will not be scammed? I can tell you no. Why? Because every day there is something new, a new technology, a new way of scamming that's coming out. One of the experiences which I had myself 2 weeks ago, one of the scammers came to my office and he was selling Bitcoin. I can tell you this, I did the 6-level checking. The only thing that did not click with me, I couldn't find the transaction on the blockchain network. I couldn't find it. This is when I know it was a scammer. So, do you think this kind of experience is something that you can buy it off the shelf? No, it's only by reading, articles, the blogs, enter with the people, interact with this community over here. This will give you a lot of experience. But is it going to be 100%? It's not going to be like that, 100% that you will be protected from that. Even the banks, with all of this KYC strength, the Interpol, the police, you name it, it's behind them, still they are being scammed. So, as really, how can I say, if there is a way, there is a way.
It sounds like that could be a whole another discussion for another time. But with that, we are out of time. I'm sure if you have other questions, they will stick around over here and answer them. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.